Hello and welcome back to Tetra Football, and today I'm going to be picking my Premier League team of the season. First up, goalkeeper, and for me it's going to be Alisson. It was between him and Nick Pope, and I think just without Alisson this season, Liverpool genuinely would have had a Chelsea-esque season, especially from the first half of the season. He absolutely saved Liverpool, so I think Alisson just gets the nod for me, and realistically the only Liverpool player that's going to get close this season, maybe other than Salah. Anyway, moving on to right back, and it has to be Kieran Trippier. He's been crucial for Newcastle getting back into the Champions League, and although he was probably a bit burnt out towards the end of the season, that's because he had to play every game. So he is really their only right back, so it doesn't change the fact he's been absolutely incredible. He's right up there near Kevin De Bruyne numbers for chances created, so he's had an absolute brilliant season for the Magpies. Next up then, my first centre-back, it's going to be William Saliba. I mean, Arsenal were just ridiculously poor without him in the team. They absolutely need him at the back, and they clearly need a lot more squad depth in that position because without Saliba, their defence kind of fell apart a bit, and he proved how good he was when he was playing, and the impact it had on Arsenal when he was out clearly shows the proper talent he is. Next up, I think I'll go for Ruben Diaz as the other centre-back. I mean, he is just crucial without City. We saw, I believe, last season where they weren't quite as good, or just since he's been at the club, whenever Diaz hasn't been in that City squad, they've just been nowhere near as good as when he is in it. I mean, he's an absolute Portuguese rock. He's so good at the back. He's one of the best centre-backs in the world, and you can see that from when City play with him and when they play without him. He is just so good, and he is crucial to City, no matter what they win, and if they win the treble, he will be a key part of that this season. Left back then, for me, it's between Estupinan and Ake. People say Zinchenko, for me, he's not really been that good. I think he's been quite a lot overhyped this season due to Arsenal's good season. So yeah, for me, it is between Estupinan and Ake, and I'm going to go Estupinan because Ake's done a lot more as a centre-back or more of an inverted role. Not quite as much as a left-back, but for left-back, Estupinan, he's been brilliant for Brighton this season and also had a decent showing for Ecuador at the World Cup. Great season, and probably one of their better players who's actually going to stay at the club for next season in the Europa League. After that then, I think into the midfield, it's between Rodri and Casemiro. And Casemiro almost won me over for sort of those final two games against Chelsea and Fulham where he decided to score a couple as well as just be as good as he had been all season. But for me, I'm going to go Rodri because he is just so consistent, and in my opinion, Casemiro honestly deserves to get sent off most games he plays because the refs take ages to give him a yellow card for multiple fouls, but then they refuse to give him a second yellow as well. So the red cards he has got, despite United fans complaining, were deserved, and arguably he could have been sent off a lot more times this season. So for me, because of that and his pure consistency, I'm going to go for Rodri as a defensive midfielder in this. Next up, a centre midfielder. I'm going to go for De Bruyne. It could be someone like Bruno Guimaraes, and I'm only including De Bruyne as a centre mid instead of a more attacking one because you have to have Odegaard in there. Most goals for a midfielder, I think 15 this season. Absolutely ridiculous. I'd had to fit him in there somehow, otherwise Arsenal fans would have came for my head. So Odegaard's in there, but I've also got De Bruyne, and it's boring because he's going to be in there every year, but you just can't argue with De Bruyne and how good he is, how important he is for City. Him and Haaland, absolutely beautiful link up. Next up then, anyway, with De Bruyne, I'm going to have a Man City teammate of his in there. On the left wing, it is going to be Jack Grealish. And before the World Cup, he hadn't done too much this season. It'd been alright. It'd been an improvement on the season before, but not too much. But after the World Cup, he has been absolutely brilliant for City. He's been one of their most important players recently. He's been racking up assists. Still not too many goals for what was an 100 million signing, let's not forget. But this season, I do have to say he has been the best left winger in the league. United fans will say Rashford, but he only really had a good couple of months. Meanwhile, Grealish has probably been better for double that amount of time, I would say. So yeah, I'm going for Jack Grealish in this because the chances he created, so important for Man City. Next up then, we'll move to the right wing, and it's between Salah and Saka. Salah has got great numbers, I think better numbers than Saka has, and this is one of his worst seasons, let's remember. But both of them, Salah's just overall performances have been poor, but Saka has also failed to form in big games. So both of them have really good numbers. But I think I'm just going to give the edge to Salah because when Arsenal really needed Saka in that title run and he didn't show up, whereas where Liverpool really needed Salah to get into Europe, he has turned up at least more than Saka has. Not quite to the extent you'd expect from Salah though. Next up then, up front, there's only one man. Don't listen to this Harry Kane nonsense. It's Erling Haaland. He got, 36 goals and he only played 35 league games. If he had played every single minute of every game, he was 100% going to break 40. But Pep Guardiola, he likes to rotate the team a bit, but he could only rotate Haaland so much, and it is clearly Haaland. And Haaland, people say, oh, he's not good enough at actually playing. He doesn't create enough. He's got way more assists than Kane, and people also pretend like for Kane, Spurs don't attack. But whenever I've watched Spurs, they do create quite a few chances. They just don't finish them, and some of that is down to Kane. Just because they're rubbish at the back doesn't mean they don't attack. Tottenham still create just as many chances as plenty of the big teams. So Kane should be expected to get those high numbers because he is supposed to be world class. But anyway, Haaland is clearly the player of the season, so it's got to be him. And one more thing I want to mention, don't let any United fan tell you Lisandro Martinez in there. The guy is sort of average, really. He's had a decent season. He's better than Maguire, but that doesn't make you team of the season. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe and tell me your team of the season in the comments down below.